Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome to Monday Musings-Danny SportsWrap. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs have a monstrous game on Monday night, and so Monday Musings, which has been put on the back burner for Danny and Stan's football weekend, makes a little bit of a return here. I'm sure this will pop up every now and then because the Chiefs occasionally don't play on a regular Sunday slot, but we get to reflect on things besides the college and pro football that we'll analyze in depth tomorrow for you. We'll roll that out tomorrow morning with Stan Weber, his great analysis of what should be a fantastic football game and also a very interesting college football weekend as well. Well, yesterday it was a day at the K that was more about reflection and looking back and sort of feeling emotions than it was about pure analysis. But, of course, we'll do a little bit of both concerning the Kansas City Royals. Somehow, the weather gods, or whoever you want to thank, made it possible for the Royals to actually get this game in, and I'll give them credit. The game really didn't have to be played, but there certainly were some reasons for the Royals to want to do it, particularly Alex Gordon. And so in between one wave of showers and another wave of showers, there was about exactly 3 hours, and the Royals managed to fit a game in there, and it all turned out to be a pretty feel-good day, as a matter of fact. We'll hear from Alex Gordon and Mike Matheny on the day a little bit later on. But the Royals did finish pretty strong this year, again. But is this different than the pretty strong finishes they put together after horrendous starts in 2018 and 2019? Well, we'll have to wait and see. It does seem that maybe the individuals involved in the fact that there seems to be some improvement create some hope for the future, but you never really know as our sports continue to move in different directions under different auspices. Baseball playoffs will start this week. It'll look completely different. 3-game series in one team's park. Way more teams to be played, but potential for teams that actually finished under 500 to upset division champions. And, of course, the NBA is concluding their unusual playoffs with the Lakers and the Heat getting set to play in the NBA Finals in a playoff setting that was completely done in a bubble, which after this round of playoffs for the Major League Baseball teams will indeed be a bubble situation as well. And, of course, the vagaries of our sports landscape right now are shown in the fact that on this little broadcast, we probably would be hearing from Peter Vermees and talking a little bit about Sporting KC. Well, their game on Sunday night was postponed because 4 members, 1 player, 3 staff members from Colorado were testing positive for COVID-19. We still get some of that. It happened in college football with Notre Dame and one other prominent college football game. It no doubt will continue to do so. But yesterday and today's look is about the Kansas City Royals in Maine and Alex Gordon in particular, and we'll crank it up, starting up next. I'm here with Tim Emerson, the owner of Emerson & Company. And Tim, give us an idea of the range of services that you provide from Emerson & Company.
At Emerson & Company, we do credit card processing, payroll services. We do bookkeeping, merchant accounts like point-of-sale systems.
What would you say differentiates you from other companies in the field, and what makes you special?
I think what makes us unique is that we're a small local business making regional decisions on companies. We create a profile for the business and then put it out to our different vendors in a very competitive environment and tailor those needs to the specific business, which usually ends up in a great fit or great result for the company.
And, of course, the idea is to save money, right?
Save money, and actually sometimes I'm surprised where actually a solution that may cost a little bit more ultimately does save money, but we're not conditioned to think like that sometimes.
Emerson & Company. Check them out at emerson-co.com or call them at 816-360-9092. Cinematic Visions has been an affordable solution for professional media production in Kansas City since 2003, offering award-winning video production and creation, as well as a wide array of digital and social media management services. From planning, scripting, filming, editing, and post-production, to delivering your product to a watching world, Cinematic Visions will provide professional and affordable services for you and your business with the necessary return on investment to make it all worthwhile. Cinematic Vision's goal is to unlock the power of storytelling through video and a strong online presence for your company. Beyond the numbers, they want to inspire and evoke your clients to feel and act. Let my friends at Cinematic Visions embed your brand where it belongs, in your customers' minds. You can find them online at cinematicvisions.com or with a quick phone call at 816-600-6300. It's time now to get some great assistance on healthcare with Chad Beisel from no-nonsense-healthcareninja.com. And Chad, even your business's name would indicate that you have a real aggressive way and an important way to go after some health insurance for your clients.
What I've found out in the industry is just a lot of people are really confused. They don't know what plans are good, what their plans offer, how they cover. And so I've just taken the approach of being really educated on what options are available to clients and showing them all the options that are available and making sure they understand them so they can pick and choose what options are good for them.
And one thing that's really important, of course, is access to doctors and hospitals.
Absolutely. That's becoming a big issue for a lot of people. Some of the plans out there are going to restrict those clients to where they can and cannot go. So if you live just outside the Kansas City metro, some of the counties outside, you may not be able to go to some of the hospitals up here in the Kansas City area. So making sure that you have a plan that's got doctors and hospitals and places you want to go is really, really important today.
Learn more by visiting no-nonsense-healthcareninja.com and let Chad help you. Firsthand, I have enjoyed the benefits of the CBD products from Canaway. My back feels better and better these days as a major part of my routine are the pain-relieving salve and the pure gold oil. And recently I had the pleasure of a treatment session using the Canaway CBD in conjunction with the Microlight 830 cold laser. The non-invasive treatment session worked wonders, and I could barely tell I was even being touched. TML 830 is the first 3B cold laser to get FDA approval, and in addition, the combination treatment with CBD is patent pending. The new smart laser is the only hands-free cold laser in the world and is used by athletic trainers, chiropractors, MDs, physical therapists, and veterinarians everywhere. You can learn more about all the great benefits from the complete line of Canaway CBD products by contacting my friend Sherry McCants at 515-208-6312. That's 515-208-6312 to get outstanding information about Canaway.
If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at danny@dannyclinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back, and the Kansas City Royals did indeed conclude their unusual 60-game season yesterday. They finish up at 26-34, a .433 winning percentage. That would translate to 69 or 70 wins, and so even on a projected basis, we can say that they wouldn't have lost 100 games. Would they have if they played a full 162? Who's to say? The Royals were showing improvement and playing better baseball by the end, but unfortunately, they did that in 2018 and 2019 as well. Is this a little bit different? We'll get into that a little bit later on, but yesterday really was Alex Gordon's day, and the weekend was really Alex Gordon's, and it was probably a little bit fitting that somebody who really doesn't crave the spotlight in any way, shape, or form concluded his career without fans in the stands. They did announce that there's going to be an Alex Gordon Day in the future, and hopefully the stands will be full on that day. But yesterday there weren't any fans. Kind of surreptitiously, there were members of Gordon's family who were allowed in the suite all weekend long. And the Royals set it up and did it the way they kind of did with the other players who went away, like Moustakas, Hosmer, Kane, those guys, and had a little ceremony for them. They did it for Alex Gordon. They did some things all weekend, carved his number 4 into the left field grass and things like that. Well, they set it up yesterday. He batted once. He batted leadoff. He struck out. It concluded a season that basically was a OPS just over 600. The last couple of years have not gone that well for Gordon. He did show some improvement last year, but as you'll hear, he even alluded to the fact that it got to be more and more of a struggle. And then as the second inning was about to begin, Mike Matheny came out from the dugout, replaced Gordon, who went around the field and actually gave hugs and high fives and slapped gloves with teammates and even the batter who was in the box, and that was Jorge Bonifacio, a former teammate with the Kansas City Royals. And so it was an emotional moment for Alex Gordon, and let him reflect on what went on, as Gordon had his very best season OPS-wise, or his second best one, but most impactful one in 2015. Since then, since signing the big contract, it certainly has not gone in a way that anybody would have liked, and certainly it's very easy to criticize the contract, but this is not the day for that. It's the day for Alex Gordon to be given his due, and his due is as a tough, hardworking, lead-by-example type of player who completely recreated his career from third baseman to left fielder, worked unbelievably hard at it, unbelievably dedicated, and this day belonged to him.
I tried to. I told everybody, no matter where the pitch was, I was swinging first pitch to try to add to the leadoff home run record. But it didn't work out. But it's fitting that, I entered this league with a strikeout and ended it with a strikeout. So I guess we'll just do that instead.
What got to you at all today? Maybe the video tribute or anything that made you emotional?
Yeah, the video tribute got me a little bit. Hearing Sal, hearing Hosmer, Moose, Witt, Ned, all those guys saying nice things about me. You're trying to get ready for a game, but at the same time when that comes on, it's pretty hard to stay locked in for the game and just think about everything that's happened over your career and what all these people have meant to you. And I think one thing that got me pretty good is when I went in the dugout and our strength coach, Ryan Stoneberg, I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but we've had, a great relationship over the years, a lot of time together, and, he was bawling, crying, and, it's just, it kind of hits you when you see things like that and how much not only he meant to me, but I meant to him too. And there was a lot of situations like that. That's just one example. So those always get you kind of choked up.
When do you think it'll hit you that this is it?
It was today. This past week, I've known this whole year, so it really didn't sink in until probably today, this morning, where, I'm always trying to, with this game, just take it one day at a time. That's kind of how I was doing it. I was still trying to, play the best way I could and help this team win. And so even though, everybody knew and I knew, and I was still getting recognized for, retiring and all this stuff, I was still locked into the game. And I think today was kind of the day where it was just like sit back, enjoy it, and just try to take it all in because, this is probably the last time you're going to be in this clubhouse competing on the major league field.
How about taking off the uniform one last time? Was that emotional?
Yes, I think anybody that's played this game could say that's emotional. I grew up as a little kid, just wanted to play this game, and then pretty fortunate to do it as long as I have. So this is all I've known my whole life, and I've been fortunate enough to play with the same organization, the organization I grew up loving all my life. So it's been great, and I have no regrets, no complaints, and just happy my career kind of unfolded the way it did. So I was sad, but at the same time, just happy that my career went the way it did. So like I said, no regrets, no complaints, and I've just been blessed to be in this situation.
Hey, Alex, I know that you've probably heard from a lot of people over the past few days. Anyone, surprise you that you hadn't heard from in a long time to reach out and say congrats?
Not really surprising. Meaningful, I would say last night was something that was pretty cool. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Hosmer, the guys in San Diego, Strom, and then Mustakis with the pine tar in the back. I don't know if someone told them to do it or what, but the fact that they did it, and then I was able to see it after the game. It's just those guys mean everything to me. Just what we've been through, and I hope that they feel the same way about me. And I think we're kind of tied together with this history in KC and what we've been through, and I just. Swanee over here just sent me Drew Gutierrez, so he did it today too. So it's just the best thing about all this is the relationships you get in the clubhouse, and even though people move on, you're still close to them, and that's just one example of them doing that with the jersey. Is just one example of them. Those are relationships that you get.
Yeah, I saw that Drew Butera one today, too. Logistically, how is this working for you? Someone's showing you these? Because I know you're not like a Twitter guy, right?
My wife has Twitter, so I'm kind of up to date with her. But, yeah, I try to stay away from social media, but she keeps me informed pretty well.
Now you're retired, you're going to get on social media and become an influencer?
That's not on the agenda, no. But never know, maybe down the road. On the agenda is spending time with family, hanging out, and catching up on life outside of baseball.
Thanks.
Hey Alex.
Sorry, go ahead, Lynn.
Yeah, Alex, I was going to say, is there a part of you, do you feel like, as you call it quits here, that feels like physically you could still play, or is that you're at peace with that?
I think I'm at peace with it. This past year has been, kind of a little different as far as my body has felt. Just recovering, just performing on the field. I felt pretty good last year, even though my body still hurt. That was definitely a factor, just maybe not performing up to the way I wanted to and the way my body felt. But at the end of the day, a big thing was just being done with baseball and just hanging out with the family. I think that was the big key. I told you guys earlier, it takes away from a lot of family time. So I just wanted to, I think the quarantine life in the summer, even though it wasn't a true summertime, just spending time with the kids. And, now that they're getting older, I just wanted to be more around than I am now. So that was the biggest part of it.
And the other thing I wanted to ask you was just, what's it like to sort of see and hear people around the organization talk about sort of you being a standard that's going to go forward, and then even outside the organization? I think Moose, when we talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and somebody asked him about being a leader in the clubhouse in Cincinnati, he talked about learning from you and sort of trying to be that way.
Yeah, it's overwhelming to hear things like that because, I just tried to play the game. I think having the position change and almost, in a way thinking that, this might be taken away from you. So, coming back, I still had that attitude before that, but it just got taken to another level. When I came back from the position change, just like, I'm going to lay everything out on the line every day, prepare the best way I can every day, and not have any regrets ever. And I kind of just tried to play like that every day. And I wasn't, I was trying to be a leader, but at the same time I wasn't. I was just trying to be myself and help this team win. And I think that kind of rubbed off in a leadership way. So, I'm so grateful to hear things like that from Moose and, other guys. And like I said, it's been overwhelming, but at the same time, very flattering that, they all say that kind of stuff.
What's on your first pizza?
Boy, the amount of pizza questions I've had in the last couple of days, I'll tell you what, Minsky's better to give me, a large free cheese pizza or something like that. I don't know. Whenever the kids want pizza the first time, I'm sure I'm going to indulge with them. So it's time to just relax, enjoy life, and kick back a little bit. So I think pizza's one of those things I can do that with.
Hey, Alex, it was a little bit, you got to witness Moose and Haas and Kane walk off the field with all the fans. So obviously it's a lot different with no fans there today. Can you kind of talk about maybe not having the fans there to enjoy it, but also Dayton Moore assured us that there is going to be an Alex Gordon day in the future?
Yeah, it was tough. This year was definitely a tough year on all of us. When I think about this year, I really think of the rookies, just what they had to go through. You kind of work for this your whole life, and then to finally make it to the show and deal with what we had to deal with this year as far as no fans, not having your family come. I really, think a lot about those guys and what they had to go through. So I'm hoping for fans next year, for their sake and for everybody. It really makes the game a lot better, and especially with our fans and how much they love us and how much they support us. I really want those young guys that haven't experienced it yet to kind of get that feeling. So obviously today would have been a lot more sweeter if, we had fans in the stands for me. But luckily Ned did a good job of last year, even though I knew I wasn't retiring. It was just letting me come off the field and enjoy that time with the fans. And, that meant a lot. And, even though the fans weren't here today, I still got to, celebrate it with my teammates and everything. So that was great.
How special was it to have your family there?
Yeah. They've been here, I don't know if I'm supposed to tell this, but the last 4 days up in the suite. And, okay, I can't tell that, so I didn't know what the COVID rules and everything. They were up in the suite by themselves the last 4 days. Surprised me the first two. My brother from Louisiana, which I haven't seen in a while, drove back overnight to see me a couple nights ago for the game. So that meant a lot, and it just speaks volumes to this organization and what they're willing to do with your family and just with all that's going on. It meant a lot, and I'm so excited that I got to experience with my kids and my wife and my mom and my family.
So one more, anybody?
Alex, if you're standing out in left field that first inning, you stood out there so many times. What's going through your head?
Honestly, just try to make a play for my pitcher. I feel like when I get on the field, I kind of flip the switch, and I'm not really thinking about maybe the whole situation outside the field that's going on. I'm just trying to compete, trying to play well for Brady Singer, who's out there pitching, and do anything I can to help this team win. And then when I cross that line after everything's said and done, I start thinking about and reflecting and everything that's gone on. But when I'm out on that field, it's just about competing and getting after it and doing everything for the Kansas City Royals.
Really, in the end, raw stats aren't the thing that tell the story of Alex Gordon. He did win a bunch of Gold Gloves. He did so under a new set of rules that probably wouldn't have had him winning Gold Gloves, but he also won the Best Outfielder award a couple of times. Well, are center fielders generally better outfielders? Yes, they are, but let's not quibble with that again on this day. He had over 1,500 hits. He had almost 200 home runs. His overall OPS for his career was about 750, but his WAR in relation to other players was much better than that. And in the end, he's one of the few players basically from this point going forward who will play his entire career with the same team, and he does so and puts it away, and you heard why he did right there for very good reasons, and also the fact that I think he realized that going forward he was just not going to be the kind of player he wanted to be. He's 36 years old. That's not particularly young. It's not like he's walking away. He's made all the money he would ever need. He's not an extravagant person anyway. He does a lot of good things with his money. So Alex Gordon does indeed deserve every tribute that he gets. Can we argue down the line just how great a player he is? Yes, we can. I mean, that's what we do. But on that particular Sunday, really kind of a shame that there wasn't a sellout crowd there, but really kind of fitting, as I said, that somebody who isn't a spotlight guy puts it down in that particular way. Well, a lot of raw stats and a lot of analysis is what comes up next, because we're going to talk about what this 2020 season meant for the Royals. It's so odd in so many ways, but so familiar in so many ways, too. All that coming up next on Monday Musings, Danny Sports Wrap, right here.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here with Joe Spiker, the CEO and president of Easton Roofing. And Joe, you had a great year in 2019, a record year. 2020 comes, things are moving smoothly along, and then the coronavirus comes. But your company seemed to be very ready, very proactive, and very ready to serve your customers well.
Yeah, we adopted social distancing very early before the cities even put out the notices. And we started working from home. We are largely cloud-based as a company, so that transition was easy. Our technicians are wearing masks and gloves, and salespeople are not meeting with homeowners. We're doing everything digitally and doing everything we can to do our part to get over this as quickly as possible.
So for any needs that people have right now, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, you can always call us, 913-257-5426. But the best way is to go to eastonroofing.com, put your information in, and we'll give you a call.
Easton Roofing. Integrity matters. Let's spend a minute with Dr. Brad Woodle, who along with his wife, Dr. Christina Woodle, the owners of Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture, my home for chiropractic care. And first of all, just tell us about the wide range of services you offer.
Danny, we offer comprehensive chiropractic, acupuncture, physiotherapy, and rehab. We do a very thorough examination, x-rays on site as necessary, and we have a full rehabilitation department, so we can help out with exercises, stretches, different therapies for the complex, but also the very simple conditions we treat.
You have been deemed essential and have remained open all through this COVID-19 process. What are some of the things you've done to make sure that was the case?
From the very beginning, in March, we started to make sure that we were cleaning and sanitizing with EPA-registered sanitizing products. We also implemented masks way before the state required them. We implemented a parking lot waiting room, took out half of the chairs in our waiting room, and made sure to space out visits so we could appropriately meet, discuss, and also screen patients to make sure we were taking care of healthy people.
Find out more about Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture and how they can help you at asfca.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Matt Llewellyn from 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence. I just want to thank everybody for supporting local restaurants during this time of uncertainty. 23rd Street Brewery is now open until this pandemic is over. And right now, more than anything, local restaurants need your help and support. Come on out and see us. 23rd Street Brewery is open now from 11:30 till 9 o'clock for dine-in and carry-out. Whatever we can do to help you out, maybe with your catering needs, too. I appreciate all the support. And thank you for continuing to shop local.
Most of us have experienced auto accidents, and it's no fun. And even less fun is trying to work on the insurance aspects afterwards and getting full value after an auto accident. I'm here with David Cowan from WreckExpert.com. And David, you have an unusual and important niche for people after an auto accident.
We have a passion to teach car wreck clients what they deserve. Getting your car repaired only fixes the damage and the paint. Getting paid for your car's loss in value is called diminished value. Chances are you've never heard of this before because most people aren't looking out for you. We help people collect thousands to tens of thousands of dollars for their car's loss in value after the wreck.
And if somebody wants to come to you for that, what's the original assessment cost them?
We offer a free review of any insurance claim to see how we can help.
You can't beat that. Great expertise and assistance in getting full value after an auto accident from David Cowan. Visit WreckExpert.com and learn more. If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Welcome back, and for the Kansas City Royals, there is lots to be positive about, but kind of it looks the same way that it did in 18 and 19, but does it? The Royals really played out the same scenario in each of the 3 seasons since they were a competitive ball club, losing 100 games each of the last 2 years, but playing better at the end, playing at about a .430 winning percentage this year, but playing better at the end, winning 12 of their last 20 games, 5 of their last 7, and doing so in a way that looks like it's repeatable. But what we saw in those other previous seasons, that good signs toward the end of the year didn't lead to anything the next season. But I will say it does look to be a bit more real. But one of the biggest questions, and a question that's being repeated, is Adalberto Mondesi. An unbelievable stretch at the end of the year, which basically ended up being pretty much the last 5 games, sort of the last 10 games. But he was still, after a pretty good stretch that got him completely out of the abyss when his OPS dropped to .440, which is pitcher-like. He started to get a little bit better, but still, with 10 games to go, he was still sitting with a .209 batting average and an OPS in the mid-500s. But then in his last 5 games, he went 14 for 18, taking his average from .209 to .256, his OPS from .566 to at least a respectable .710. He did see a good stretch of lefties down the stretch, and he has killed left-handed pitching this year. Much more power, an OPS over 1,000, and we see all the other aspects of his game. He can run, he can field, but we saw one of these hot streaks before, and it didn't translate into anything. And the other part about this is it's such a small sample size. This season is sort of divided kind of into 2/3 good and 1/3 2/3 bad and 1/3 good, but it's only 60 games. His hot streak was basically only 10 games. If you want to extend a decent streak to 20, I can listen to that, but still that's 20 games. And what will it lead to? I think that's a complete question mark. It's easy for you to be positive and encouraged. It's very easy to look at the evidence that shows that this absolutely led to nothing in the past. So he is the most important position player as far as taking the Royals to another level. From an offensive standpoint, Salvador Perez had an unbelievable year when he played, his best offensive year, OPS-wise, by a mile, almost 1,000. He hit for power. He looked fresh. He certainly caught the ball still well. Maikel Franco was better than pretty good, but not great. But he was the second best OPS hitter on the Royals, and looks like at least he'll be a viable piece going forward. The Royals actually only had 5 players who qualified for the batting title, kind of a reflection of the oddity of the year, kind of a reflection of the fact that they had some COVID issues. But Franco, Merrifield, Hunter Dozier, Mondesi, and Nicky Lopez were the players who qualified. And Nicky Lopez was the only one who in the end you would consider a complete disappointment. He has shown no signs that he's going to be able to hit at the major league level, and he's been given quite a bit of rope as far as being able to play. He played almost every single game this year, 56 out of 60 games. But the other aspect that's probably a little bit more negative, Whit Merrifield had kind of a little bit of a slow year for him, but once again, in a short season, you figured he would probably get hotter at one point. Hunter Dozier kind of slumped down the stretch, but I think we know he is a good, viable major league player. But I guess the other aspect of it is that there were no real surprises. There was nobody who really stepped forward and really did something shocking. Jorge Soler is sort of not in this conversation right now because he had some injury issues. He could bounce back and become another real viable piece, but there were no real surprises here. You didn't have Nicky Lopez stepping forward. You didn't have Bubba Starling somehow finding things in this particular year. So those things were the negatives, but there are enough positives there that the Royals could at least be a viable offensive team going forward. But what the Royals really need to do is be a team that is driven by their pitching, and the signs were very good there. Yesterday, Brady Singer concluded the season with an excellent performance. It came on the heels of Brad Keller having an excellent performance in his last outing. Neither pitcher gave up any runs in their last outing, so that certainly is a very big positive as far as that is concerned. Singer ends up with an ERA just over 4. Keller is much lower than that. These guys were hard to hit. He had somebody at the back of the bullpen at the end in Jesse Hahn, who was almost unhittable. He went 24 straight left-handed batters without a hit against him. He went 9 straight games without giving up anything. So he looks like a viable piece. They got some things back for Trevor Rosenthal. Downside, Kyle Zimmer, again, came up with an injury issue towards the end of the season. But between Singer and Scott Barlow and Chris Bubich, the left-hander, they really seem to have a base for something, and there's more in the pipeline. So the Royals do have some things that they can be positive about. Will it be enough? Will it continue to move forward? We saw things that were a bit negative this year. Jacob Junis would end up proving to be sort of just a middle-of-the-road pitcher who ended the season in the alternate camp, and Josh Staumont was pretty good, but had his bad moments with control as well. And some of the other pitchers were just a mix and match type of thing. And Danny Duffy was sort of what he is, teasing you with ability, but not necessarily coming through all the time. But on the whole, I would say with the amount of pitching that they have behind them, the Royals are in a position that is certainly viable as far as that is concerned. But on this day, it's kind of a day to wrap things up and look at the emotion and look at some of the positive things we were just talking about. And Mike Matheny does that right here.
I'll always start with the pitching, but we know this is a special Alex Day too, which I thought it was just it's been really well done around here from the organization's perspective for sure, and in the clubhouse, how these guys have honored Alex. It's been a special day that none of us will forget, and a special season. But Brady showed up and did his part today. It was one of my favorite starts of his, because when he showed up, after a rough one the last time out, he showed up today and he didn't necessarily have his location, and he had to figure out a way to get it going, and he needed to use his slider to get him there instead of just pounding the strike zone with the sinker like he wanted to. And he improvised. He and Savvy did a nice job of going off script and figuring out how to get strikes and using the slider in different spots till the sinker came along. And then when it did, we saw him as efficient as anybody could be, and getting the ground balls, getting the swings and misses, getting the takes, because you could tell the movement was there. It was just a real nice job of pitching without your best stuff and ending up with some of your best stuff.
Monty, obviously a terrific finish. How important do you think this will be to him personally going into the offseason, just having such a terrific finish?
Yeah, just everybody understands. We've talked about it quite a bit about just how happy we are that he continues to reinforce to himself the things that we all believe. And we can talk about it until we're blue in the face, but until you see some of the results, and most people don't ever see the results of what he's done here lately. It's just makes you. We've talked about it before. Shake your head. We watched Salvi go on a run like that too, to just be amazed. But the whole package of what we've seen, the confidence in the field, a terror on the base paths, and I don't know of anybody in baseball that's as dangerous of an at-bat as he is right now, all things considered. So couldn't have ended any better.
Alex is obviously legendary for being stoic. Did you sense any emotion from him today?
Yeah, he was mad at me for pulling him out. Made that really, really clear. He wanted 9 today. So, he is. He's done a great job. And I've said this before, and people don't believe it, but he's been really vocal this year. And it didn't happen early on. It just kind of has come along, and I think he's realized that he has something to say to people that people are listening and they're paying close attention. And so it's been special to be a part of some of the behind the scenes things, some of the conversations that he's having. But you could tell it meant a lot to him. And the first day, I know Jamie surprised him. First day of this series, and saw his family up in the suite. It's just been special to him to be able to include his friends and family and let people see an end to an extremely impressive, impactful career.
So you pre-planned the second inning? Is that what you thought going in?
Yeah, I did, only out of as much fear of the weather as anything else. I'd hated to. I know he probably wanted another at-bat besides that one. I was afraid of a couple things. I thought he might swing so hard that first at-bat that he might hurt himself and have to come out, and that would be anticlimactic. But either that or weather would come along if we waited too long and potentially take away from the privilege of honoring him like the best we can. Obviously, it would have been better if this place is packed full of Royals fans. But I thought that was really, really well done and handled by the guys, and I know Alex appreciated it.
So this star-crossed baseball season for the Royals comes to an end. It was a season with an opening to perhaps get into the playoffs with not so great a year. We see that because sub-500 teams, a couple of them did make the postseason, but the Royals did not take advantage of that. Hopefully we'll be going 162 with fans in the stands next year, but we'll have to wait and see. Because the reality of what we have now is reflected in Sporting Kansas City. They didn't play on Sunday. We don't know when that game will be made up. They're supposed to play again on Wednesday. Every time you're getting set for a game, you really don't know whether it's going to go forward. For instance, Kansas State, we'll talk about that tomorrow with Stan on Danny and Stan's Football Weekend. They were talking early in the week about some doubts about whether they're going to be able to field the proper amount of players to have a team that met the requirements to play. And then they go out and they beat the number 3 team in the country, a top 3 team for the first time in their history. As I mentioned before, the NBA Finals will get underway. It's been certainly entertaining in the NBA. I think the lack of fans has hurt the defense. I've said that before, so that makes for entertaining basketball. I think the intensity you need to play defense is certainly ramped up by fans, but entertaining basketball has been the order of the day. But in the end, the NBA gets what we often see, which is chalk, but at least in this bubble situation, there was a bit of a surprise. I don't think people would have thought the Miami Heat would be a finals team, but what that leads to is that there seems to be an inevitability that LeBron James, who has made the finals every single year but one in the last 10, comes to the fore as well. And we have the baseball playoffs pre-bubble, one round before the bubble also starting up. So lots of things still to talk about, most of them in a bubble, as it were, and we will see if that changes anytime soon. Football dipping their toe in the water, and we'll talk football coming up tomorrow with 3 great storylines to talk about as far as college football is concerned. And, of course, Monday night's epic showdown between the top 2 teams in football, the top 2 quarterbacks in football, maybe the top 2 coaches in football. All that on the plate tomorrow on Danny and Stan's Football Weekend. For Monday Musings, Danny Sports Wrap. Have a great day.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like
NoNonsenseHealthcareNinja.com, specializing in expert healthcare guidance and assistance for you.